Good morning and welcome to video message number 24. I love you, Mr. Trump, but we're going to set you aside today and we're going to talk to Mr. Kasich over there in Ohio. Mr. Kasich, we have a few unanswered questions that we need to resolve before you continue to run for President of the United States. And that is, we want to know, did you take part in or possibly have anything to do with the cover-up of the murder of Terry Thompson in Zanesville, Ohio? You will never convince me and tens of thousands of people across the United States, especially the citizens in Ohio, to believe that Terry Thompson, who loved his animals, would let his animals out to be what? Slaughtered by the police there in Zanesville, Ohio? And then pull his pants down and embarrass himself before he shot himself in the head? How come the gun that was supposedly used to kill himself was sold to him by a police officer there in Zanesville, Ohio? Well, it's not really that difficult. All you got to do is follow the money trail. Carole and Howard Baskin donated a little over $40,000 to the Humane Society of the United States' political fund, and then the Humane Society of the United States donates that money to the politicians in Ohio. To what? Vote in their favor of this stupid-ass exotic animal law that you helped pass. But you know, you needed the perfect scenario to freak people out and make people panic in order to pass this law so easy, and it worked exactly the way you had it planned out. And that was to put the people in America and all over the world in a panic that exotic animals such as these are so dangerous that they need to be outlawed. Got a couple questions for you though. One is, I want to debate you live on CNN to see if you got some answers and to see if you possibly covered up some of that shit that went on in Zanesville, Ohio, with your buddy Jack Hanna and your partners down there in Tampa, Florida, Carole Baskin and Miss old Patty Finch with the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries, because y'all are the only ones making any money off of this, to the tune of $100,000 per tiger to take away from your citizens in Ohio and ship them to a Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries facility. So what we're going to do is we're going to make you an offer right here in the middle of the public forum, and that is to get on CNN Live, and you can ask me 10 questions on a lie detector test, and let me ask you 10 questions on a lie detector test. And hell, for the fun of it, let's see. Carole's bitching that she has this black cloud over her head of people thinking that she fed her husband to the tigers. How can she clear her name, she asks? It's called a fucking lie detector test. Put her on CNN right along with us, and let's ask her 10 questions. And let's see who's lying and who's full of bullshit and who's sticking up for the citizens of the state that you're supposed to be looking out for. So, Mr. Trump, you want to know how to get the women behind you in this country, and you want to boost your votes up just a little bit? Let's have that debate. And let's sit down and talk for about 30 minutes and show these women that have all these animals. And I'm talking about exotic animals all the way down to a ferret, to a tiger. They'll get behind you if you just give them 30 minutes of your time. Just one time is all it's going to take. But, Mr. Kasich, I'm going to be like a 10-foot leech on the right cheek of your ass until we get you on TV and you answer to some of these questions on what happened in Zanesville, Ohio, and behind closed doors at all them dinner meetings and everything else that we saw you go to over there in Ohio while they were trying to pass this law that turned into such an emergency crisis. And all you've done is take people's animals away from them. Not another animal's got out, or not another person has been injured. But you continually take these animals away from these people and send them to Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries so they can raise $100,000 on what? That is, to euthanize that tiger within the next couple of years. I'll guarantee you she'll find a reason to put him to sleep, just like she did Shere Khan. We've got the vet records of that. And how about China Doll? She put China Doll to sleep because she was depressed. I think I've been telling everybody for the last couple of years, you take an animal away from the only place it knows, it's gonna go through depression, and most of them die. And right there's your living proof. Big Cat Rescue's veterinarian reports, depressed, euthanized, cremated. For the last 23 days, I've been asking you 6 very important questions that we would like to know the answers to. And me and Thor and Shere Khan here, we're going to ask you them right now. Here in America, we have a war in the animal world, and the animal rights people in order to take our rights away. And 62.8 million people here in America own pets, and we'd like to know your comments and your concerns about a few issues. Question number 1. How do you feel about 501c3 organizations here in America that are scamming the public for hundreds of millions of dollars to take care of animals, and none of it goes to the animals? 90% of it goes to lobbyists to pass laws to further their agenda. 2, it seems like terrorist is the #1 topic anytime you turn the news on anymore. Are you aware that our own government, the United States Department of Agriculture, declared PETA a #1 domestic terrorist in the United States on November the 30th, 2009, and they're still a nonprofit tax organization here in America? How can you be a terrorist and get a tax break from your own country right here in America? 3, we'd like to know your opinion on how you feel on online bullying, not only of children, but adults, in the name of free speech, in order to bash somebody and ruin their reputation and their good name, only to make money for yourself and get away with it under the Declaration of Free Speech. 4, we'd like to know, how come us Americans that own our own property, own our own houses, and pay taxes on them do not have the right to have our own pets that we choose to have on our property or in our homes? Number 5, do you not think that we Americans have the right to assume the risk of our profession, no different than a cop, a firefighter, an oil rig worker, or anyone else that has the assumption of the risk of their professions? It is our right. And please, if you become president, give us back our right. And number 6, one of the most important, and this kind of touched on your speech at the Oklahoma State Fair, about things being made in other countries and taxing them when they come into America. Do you not believe that it should be a right that any product made from the rainforest or an animal's habitat somewhere in the world should be taxed in order to be sold in America, and that tax money go back to helping rebuild the habitat and the rainforest so some of these animals don't become extinct in the futures to come? I'm Joe Exotic, and along with 62.8 million other people, we'd like to know if you have any answers for any of this. And you wouldn't believe the support you would get. But this war on American citizens and their animals has got to come to a stop. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's video message 24. I'll see you tomorrow for video message 25 with such wild, dangerous animals.